I want to start off asking just what it is that ServiceNow is doing to help in this. With this in mind, a couple days ago, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella, who I know you know well, was talking about how the flexibility built into cloud infrastructure and cloud apps is really kind of a silver lining in this, because it is allowing digital help to get to places where it wouldn't have been able to get in the past.
Absolutely, John. I'd first like to extend our heartfelt wishes to all that have been affected by this terrible virus, and the first responders, doctors, nurses, folks on the front line at the local grocery store, at the local pharmaceutical store. Thank you for all you're doing for the country and really to help people sustain themselves through this very difficult time. We have at ServiceNow invented 4 applications to really go after COVID-19 with all we have. We call these the emergency response operations. We built them all on our Now platform. So from an emergency outreach, self-reporting, exposure management, it's a one-stop shop of COVID-19 in a box. And you see Washington State as an example, Health and Human Services, City of San Francisco, and great companies like Lowe's and HSBC adopting quickly. John, what's happening is this. The value chains out there have split apart, and innovators like ServiceNow have to come in now and reorient workflow in a way that enables business continuity and enables people to execute their mission even in this most difficult time. I'm proud to say that we have over 1,000 companies now, major companies in the federal, state, local, and also commercial entity realm using the Now platform all over the world. The adoption of this has been unlike anything that we have seen. It's really exciting.
Bill, given that, what do you expect will be some of the longer-term impacts and consequences of this? I don't know to what extent you're mainly seeing expansion in the use of your platform from existing customers, to what extent people are able to get on it who have never been on it before and get trained and up to speed fast enough to get use out of it. But in terms of the uptake and the priority that people are going to place on software as a service and this method of getting resources what they need to be, what do you expect to happen?
John, you remember well when we came out of the financial crisis in 2008. That is when cloud computing hit a new gear. And that's when it became the pervasive computing theme of the 21st century. The elasticity of the cloud, the ability to build applications very quickly on a platform like ServiceNow's, so you can be in service to employees, in service to customers, and in service to keeping the operation going even through difficult times. If you think about digital transformation, it's a $7.4 trillion addressable market in the next 4 years. And here's what I'm seeing. I talk to CEOs and heads of state every day. We're done with talking about, is it a good idea to digitally transform? Now the conversation has shifted to, how quickly can you get me there? I have to get there really fast. So my prediction here, John, is that companies that are digital, that can lead this digital transformation revolution, will prosper through this time because there are so many public sector and private sector entities that must change. And I do believe, John, we're going into a totally new normal. Not dissimilar, think about it, we're going to have to figure out whether it's 3 weeks from now or 3 months from now, how you're going to get back to work. Business continuity must continue. So think about all the processes that will have to change. I like to think of this as a physical distancing, not a social distancing, because our processes on Zoom every day has us connected to the management team and the people throughout our company. So while we are physically distant, we have socially kept the conversation going. We're continuing to pursue our goals because that's what the world needs from ServiceNow.
Bill Morgan here. It's really interesting to hear you talk about this acceleration in terms of a digital transformation, whether it's your enterprise IT clients, whether it's the fact that you have reach into customer service and human resources as well. Given this shift, given this fact that so many companies, so many clients are looking to move and move more quickly, what are the biggest issues or the biggest asks that you're getting right now in the midst of this?
Yeah, as an example, first you have to deal with the COVID-19 crisis. So, where are the resources? When there is an incident, how do you quickly manage it? How do you get the right people in the right place with the right tools and capabilities to resolve an issue? If you're dealing with a state entity, for example, the federal government is funding very significant operations, but they also expect a digital workflow where you can account for the time and the attendance of people that you've dedicated to certain protocols and missions. This, of course, is being done now on the ServiceNow platform. In the commercial sense, here's what we're seeing. I mean, customers right now are basically saying, how do I take care of my people? So, for example, I heard some very outstanding CEOs saying, we're going to keep hiring, or we're certainly not going to lay people off. How do we get the tools to people to do the job remotely? How do we make that happen? How do we make sure we're caring for the people? How do we align them with the goals and the orientations of the company? How do we keep compliance and security at a high level, even as they work from places like home or studio environments where they're not used to working? All of this has to be done utilizing a digital platform, a totally new way of working. Here's a big thing, a really big thing. In the beginning, everybody was saying, oh, we're going to work from home, we'll close down operations, and that was basically it. What about the customer? What we're learning about the customer is right now, they're not really interested in you upselling them and cross-selling them in an engagement layer of CRM. What they are interested in is business continuity. How will you service me even as we're in the midst of a crisis? So this idea of service management, of making sure you get the right assets in front of the right problems and you can resolve issues for customers, especially since they're no longer working in their offices for the most part. It has really reoriented the workflow of companies all over the world, and it's happened really quickly.
Bill, it's Kelly here back at headquarters, and it's great to see you again. I'm curious because you've kind of alluded to this. You think working patterns are going to permanently change. And if you're right, there's huge implications for everybody from WeWork to commercial real estate to, companies' bottom lines and how much they're going to have to spend on offices going forward. What do you think we're going to be talking about in terms of headcount reduction at a home office in the next 5 to 10 years?
Kelly, 43% of the companies today actually don't even have a work-from-home policy. Think about that. Now, after this crisis, I can assure you they'll need one, and the boards of directors will expect that they have one. If you remember the post-9/11 era, I mean, it was unbelievable to think that people would be standing in line to get x-rayed with their luggage before getting on a flight. As I think about this new environment, just think about the procedures and the protocols that we have to now impart on the workforce to make sure that they're healthy when they come into these buildings and they actually go to work. We'll actually have to have quick analysis. For example, you could do an ear temperature check to make sure someone's temperature isn't high when they're coming into the workplace to keep people safe. That's a protocol. That's a new process. I expect that things like that will definitely happen. I also expect that workers will work more from home, that people will be more agile and flexible in how they work, and the tools and the platforms of digital have to be enabled to make that happen. So here it is. People that are digitally transforming now, you got to go faster. People that haven't actually embarked upon this journey, you need to do it now, because now is when your people will expect you to build a culture that enables them to prosper in any working environment. And I have to believe we're in a new norm. If it's not COVID-19, it's going to be something else. Workforces have to be prepared to handle anything. We have to be an all-weather workforce to win.